While I have your attention, I want you to know that you can change the world, and so can I. My name is Dr. Jeronda Majors. I am a middle school principal here in Louisville, Kentucky. I am a Black woman, a leader, an educator, and a servant of the people. I love that we're having an honest conversation about race and being able to really examine oppressive systems and structures that have been in place in this country for a long time. My experience being Black in America is wonderful. If I were given the opportunity to choose an ethnicity or a race, I would still choose Black. I love the fact that I identify as a Black woman with a community and a culture, the most creative people, a rich history of people that have been resilient in spite of so much. It has been an incredible journey of discovery for me, but it has also been one of disappointment. And the disappointment comes from the fact that as Black folks, we have built this country, but a country that is not designed for us. I grew up in a small town in Kentucky and remember always being the only Black child in the class and having to defend or explain what it means to be Black. And so even right now, I think it's important to do, but it's triggering. And so for me, I want to make my ancestors proud, but it is also one of frustration, one of resentment at the same time. My career is education, and education in the United States is built on, for me, white supremacy and racism. As an educator, it was a cultural adjustment for me. The first thing that we do in the morning, we say the pledge. And for me, as a social studies teacher, a history teacher, as a Black woman, to force my students to stand up and to say the pledge when I know that there's not justice for all, felt hypocritical every day. I am supposed to, as a history teacher, social studies teacher in middle school, teach a curriculum, teach a history that is a lie, that is wrong. And for me, that is conflicting and it's hard. When I think about racism in my career, the fact that I have to be Dr. Majors versus Miss Majors, I could tell from the very beginning, the way that it was set up, unless you had lots of letters behind your name or letters in front of your name, folks would justify and say, oh, well, that's the reason why she didn't get the position. And so for me, I was very motivated to get my doctorate because I realized that that was a door that for me was necessary in order for me to be heard. I'm still Black. It does not matter how many degrees I have, my title, or my rank. I am still a Black woman in America. And trying to navigate and to speak up for people and to speak out against oppressive systems that we still perpetuate is very difficult. And sometimes, I'll just be honest with you, I feel like I'm the only voice, or there are very few voices. And even for other Black colleagues and educators, they're nervous. They're nervous that if they speak out, that there may be the potential to lose their job, or they'll be railroaded and isolated and marginalized. And it's difficult to say just one racist experience because the whole institution and structure, the way it's set up, is very racist in itself. So my message to white people in particular that want to be allies is that it is not enough to put a Black Lives Matter t-shirt on. It is not enough to pump your fist in the air. It is not enough to go to one march or 50 marches, check it off the box and say that's it. What I want white people to do is to really do the inner work first. Really examining how we're all complicit and how we've been socialized and conditioned to be in a racist society and what that looks like. So the images that we watch, the dolls and the action figures that we grew up with, go back and examine that. When we think about our kitchen tables and the conversations that are around that, go back and think about that. And think about, did you speak up? Did you counteract that? or did you go along with the flow? And for many of us, we realize that we probably went with the flow because we're socialized. Then it is action. And what action really looks like is when you have an opportunity to advance folks, do that. Not because you're looking for a black person and any black person, but when you know that there are particular situations that have shut folks out, speak up, speak out against that. When you have an opportunity to patronize a business, do that. When you have an opportunity to confront and address your own racist thoughts or implicit bias, do that. Know that it is real. The fact that we're even having this conversation when there have been people that have sung about racism and oppression, that have written poems, have screamed, have yelled, have died, and in 2020, we're still having this conversation, shows that we have not done enough. Please, white folks, realize it is not about being nice. It is not about all you have to do is just to love and to be kind, and it is about humanity, and we're going to treat people the same. It is so much more than that. 50 years ago, 60 years ago, people thought, oh, well, all we have to do is to wait for racist folks to die out. Racist folks do not die out. What happens is that racist folks, they teach their children, they continue to perpetuate systems of racism, and we, in 2020, are responsible to address those and to dismantle those. So I would ask for all white people to be honest about where we are. I'm hopeful that my children's children don't have to grow up in a society where we have to constantly ask the questions and yell while I have your attention, and to talk about the structures that have been oppressive to my people and to others. We don't have to keep having this same conversation and ask people to listen. It won't be necessary.